Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a Houston Rockets video for you. Now, if you enjoy this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I really appreciate it. We're going to talk about Malik Monk possibly making his way to the Houston Rockets. Now, John Wall and Eric Gordon, they're kind of the two outliers on this Rockets team. It's a weird situation that the Rockets are in just in general. And then you add John Wall and Eric Gordon, and they kind of confuse the mix. The way I see John Wall and Eric Gordon is I am essentially when I think about them, I practically imagine they're not on the roster. Because when you look at the Houston Rockets 5-year plan, neither of these players are a part of it. And I fully expect Eric Gordon to be traded eventually. I'm hoping it's sometime within the next year. If not, it's definitely going to be the year after that. I mean, he makes 16 to 20 million in the next 3 years. It just goes up and it goes up and it goes up. Right in his final year, he'll be making $20 million at about 35, 36 years old to come off the bench, playing 30, 40 games. Looks a little injury prone. I just not sold on Eric Gordon without James Harden being on the team. I don't see a reason to hold on to Eric outside of, he was part of the James Harden team, and just love Eric Gordon and everything he's done for Houston. But I don't think he'll be on this team much longer. And the same goes with John Wall. He's guaranteed $90 million over the next 2 years. And I'm really hoping the Rockets figure out a way to at least negotiate the contract, buy him out so he can leave. We can free up all the minutes and just be done with John Wall 2 years from now. I don't know. The John Wall situation is really tricky. I mean, they can still trade him away. Who knows what's going to happen? I want to take a look at Malik Monk because I know I say every single video we have way too many guards, but my hope is that Stone figures out what to do with John Wall and Eric Gordon sooner rather than later. And just looking, like I said, looking 5 years down the line, neither of those two players will be on this team, whereas guys like Malik Monk, KPJ, Christian Wood, Jayshawn Tate, who knows, right? The hope is that obviously they are, and that they're superstar beasts, and that we just assembled a superstar beast team and we're just really good. On Malik's career, he averaged 9 points per game, 2 rebounds, and 1.8 assists on 40% field goal shooting and 34% three-point shooting. So nothing too great there. Keep in mind right now he's 23, just turned 23 in February, so he's extremely young. This year, 42 games, got injured. 3 of his 4 years in the NBA have been injured, and that is my biggest concern with Malik Monk, is that 3 of his 4 seasons were injury-riddled. So he played 42 games, which is not very many in this already shortened season. But in those 42 games, he did probably the best hit in his entire career, right? So he did 11.7 points per game, so just a hair under 12, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, that's not really looking at more just scoring the ball. 44% field goal percent shooting, and then 40% three-point shooting. So he had a 6% increase from the 3 this season. Malik Monk is one of those young players. The situation with Malik reminds me similarly to kind of what happened with KPJ and just how the Rockets got KPJ. The Cavaliers didn't want him. There was some outside basketball issues going on, and the Cavaliers just viewed him as more of a distraction than anybody who can help their team. And they made a huge mistake, although it was probably something. It really wasn't. Man, that whole situation is just a little iffy, touchy. I'm not going to get into it, but they hit big, right? The Rockets hit huge on KPJ, and they were already going to get rid of him. Malik Monk isn't quite at that level where they're just going to give him away for a 7th grade future pick. But he played in 42 games, and he just had the best season of his career. In 2019-2020, he got suspended for violating the terms of the NBA's anti-drug program on his record. And the stigma that comes with it, it's not fair. But that's something to keep in mind. He's probably going to be a little bit cheaper than somebody who who has not had issues like that in the past. And that sucks that that's the way it is, but that's a very similar situation to what happened with KPJ. They just didn't want him. So, like I had mentioned, I really think we should just operate as if John Wall and Eric Gordon aren't even on the roster. No matter if they're both starting, getting 70 combined minutes, it's just in the future, neither of them will be a part of it. And so the deal with this is Malik's restricted, and the Hornets can still match any offer that is given to him. But an offer for the mid-level exemption of $9.5 million per season, that is nearly double of what his contract is. And I personally don't see Charlotte. This is like their fourth guard in the rotation. I don't see them paying almost $10 million or even more than $5 million what he's getting right now. I just don't see them paying that to retain Malik Monk, especially with all the injury history that he's had in the last, just 4 years of his NBA career. It's been riddled with injuries. Now, the Rockets could just snag him, and you have another it's just basically what we have here is a buy low assessment. You're buying very low, very little risk, but the potential for the reward, it's very high. If Malik Monk just even plays how he played this season, but healthy, the Rockets could use that very much. Somewhere in between the $5 to $9 million per year to come off the bench and put up at least 12 points per game while shooting the three at a 43% clip. And he's only 23 with room to grow outside of just the three-point shot. That's exactly what I'm looking at if I'm the Houston Rockets. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I know the Rockets could use some defense, but this is one of those players with mad potential, can improve on the defensive end. He can improve on the offensive end. He's only 23. He's not even close to his prime. Plenty of minutes to go around. Whether or not John Wall are on the roster next season and they're playing, there's still plenty of minutes to go around. So I really like this move, man. I really like this move. Let me know what you guys think about Malik Monk making his way to the Houston Rockets, and I will see you guys later.